So you have social media, which seems to be rewarding a certain kind of stand-up comedy, and then clubs that want a certain kind of plug-and-play stand-up. Uh, I like to think of myself as an ethical capitalist, which is, of course, an oxymoron. But never, anytime money's involved in anything, be gravely suspicious. And for clubs and for Netflix and for the algorithm, like they're not out for the best art and they're not out for our best interests. Of course they're not. They're out to make the most money off us. The more they can reduce us to content instead of artists, the better for them. The more they can make comedians look alike so they can plug and play comedians into slots and they are completely interchangeable, the better for them. The less we use tech and lights and other things to be creative and work outside the system, the better for them, right? Because it's all easier. And at the end of the day, they're more interested in how many chicken fingers they sold than if our jokes have gotten better or are pushing the limits of comedy. And the thing is, there is a reward in that, and it's very easy for especially stand-ups because that has been very monetized. Like they know how to make money on stand-up. Really, with clown, like even with Stamptown, which is a very successful show, Zach by no means is an oligarch. Like he's surviving. Like he's putting on these amazing shows. He's paying all his performers, but he's not like wealthy. And they really don't quite know what to do with us, which has protected us artistically. Because if they knew what to do with us, they'd be certainly pushing us into a more narrow box. And stand up right now is a very tight little sort of like, this is what it is. And they love that stand up is so inexpensive, that it's just a person on stage with a microphone. They love this stuff. And it doesn't serve the artist to not be able to think about the possibilities of what they could do or how they could interact with an audience. But it certainly serves the people who are cashing the biggest checks.
Yeah, definitely. But what you said, there's also a big problem in a lot of things, like with movies and with TV series. Like, I really love this YouTube channel, but The Critical Drinker, I absolutely love it. The stuff that he says and the things that he reviews. But a big thing is, Hollywood is yeah, it's so focused on making money. Like, look at what's been done to Star Wars. They butchered it to death. They destroyed it. Look at what they did to superhero film. That if they'd maybe not made too many and made it not too much just about a quick buck, it maybe would still be popular. But because they've mined it to the ground, like they got Love Island in the UK, that TV show is shit, but it was really popular for a while. But it's on this downward turn. They're not going to stop it on a good point. They want to milk it dry till there's not a single penny left.
Well, over the show Lost.
Oh yes, that I've watched a bit of it, but not all of it. Some of it's good.
From my understanding, the creators of that show, very much in their mind, they were like, we'll do like 3 seasons. Like we'll have a mystery and then we'll solve a mystery. And then of course it was making too much money and they end up going like 6-7 years, and all they're doing is adding more and more mysteries. Like they're like doing this formula of like, how will this all be explained, to the point where it's inexplainable. And the fact that they were unable to end that show in a satisfactory way has really tarnished its legacy. It was people's favorite show, and you really never hear people talk about it anymore because same with Game of Thrones. Like essentially they ran out of books, and they're like, well, we'll do one more season and we'll write it and we're going to tie everything together. And they kind of like, oh, you would have been better off just like being this frozen moment in amber and not trying to like satisfy the people you worked for to make one big cash grab. And like we always, we talked about my screenwriting career earlier, and just that realization that the people you trust the most, while I'm not saying they're evil or malicious, that they always kind of figured you wouldn't make it. And they're like, how much money can we make off them while they're here? Like just this sort of view of artists in general as commodity and like something to be like exhausted and to make as much money as possible from them and then throw them out for newer artists who cost less and don't know the game and that you could exploit. Like every new artist that comes in is like someone walking into a used car lot, right? Like, oh, they don't know how this works, and I do this every day, and I can get them to sort of buy a car that's a lemon, or I can get them to spend too much money. Like that's how the entertainment industry works now in the US, and I imagine other places. Um, and that's why I'm also checked out of it. Like I'm super excited to work on the Netflix special and be part of that. And that kind of happened organically, but I don't audition. I don't I don't take meetings on scripts that I don't write anymore. I only do things that I have control over and allow me to be uncompromising in terms of the work that I create. That's it. And if someone offers me something outside of that, I'm not interested.